So Monday morning everyone, and I'm on my way in, but I've got a few errands to run on my way in, which I'll share with you as I go along. One of which is to recover a car that I sold that went faulty within about 10 minutes of them buying it. But I have to say, probably the coolest customers ever. We'll cover a bit of that later on. First we're going to run a couple of errands. I'll go through them as we go along, and then we'll get to this faulty car. I just want to say, some people have been saying in my latest videos I've got an issue with sound coming in from one side, which I am looking to try and resolve, but a lot of the content I've done has already been recorded with that issue, so it's going to take a couple of videos for that to wash out. I've got some new camera stuff on the way, so apologies for those of you that are suffering with hearing me in just one ear at the moment. Maybe just be thankful you're not having to hear me in both ears like the wife is. So first stop of the day, popped off to a customer's house on the way into work. It's about 8:45 I think. Clock's wrong on this. I'm in the Fiesta ST I bought, which I'll cover in a later video. Brutally quick thing. Got my trusty old topped on RCD 600 out because the customer had a code on the dashboard, but by the time I got it the code had gone out again, so I think we all know what that's going to be. It was a oxygen sensor, bank number 1, so it's a pre-cat, not the post-cat, pre-cat sensor. So we'll probably need to order one of those in, but he was worried about her driving it. Obviously it's fine to drive on an oxygen sensor. Worst case scenario is the car will go to a base map and slightly over fuel, and you'll notice worse fuel economy if you're watching that kind of thing. But we'll get it ordered up, and then he can book in direct with the Moors for when he's available and they're available to get that sorted. So yeah, that's first stop of the day. Right, next stop of the day, I've got to double back on myself and go to Barchetta because the main dealer's got a part exchange car in. They would like me to have a look at. I picked up obviously 4 from them previously, if the videos are in the right order, and they've already got another one for me, and it's a Hyundai, so we'll go and take a look at that. Or Kia. Is it Hyundai or Kia? I can't remember now. So I can't film around the outside of the car here, but 52,000 miles, and it is, well, let's let you guys tell me what car it is. I'm sure some of you know what this is. You're going to know it's one of my favourite brands, but it isn't the smallest one. Steering wheel's a bit manky, we need to put a cover on the steering wheel, but 52,000 miles, 1.4 petrol. I need to go in and check whether we've got any service history or not with it. I'm not finding any at the moment, but the interior is really nice, clean on it. The outside's a bit dirty, but looks like it'll polish up all right. And clutch seems good, which is the main thing with this. It's just, really there's not a lot to go wrong with them, just check your clutch is good. Anyway, we'll go in and see if we can't thrash out a deal on this one. Right, so deal done on that motor. Now we're off to go and recover the car that we sold on Saturday that's failed. So we will have a chat about that when I get there. So we'll walk and talk because I only need to walk round to the industrial estate. There's literally round the corner from mine, probably about 30 yards or something. Don't know the yards particularly well. We need to go and recover a Hyundai i20 that I sold on Saturday. That i20, you may have seen in previous videos, is from a subscriber. Lovely car, one owner from new, full main dealer service history. I think it was 69,000 miles on it, if I remember correctly. He drove it all the way down to me. I drove it around a bit, fine. Pete came along and said, I'd like to buy that car. And he took it away. And when he got into town, about half hour away, clutch went on him. His foot went to the floor, he couldn't get any gears. And we had to recover the car. Sent it down to Moors. They said, the master cylinder's gone. So they put the master cylinder on it. We took it for another test. They took it for test drive. I took it for another test drive. All is good. So put it back up for sale. Probably sold to this lady on Saturday who came. This is the lady that left a deposit on it and went off to sell her car. And the deal was that we'd wait a week, and if she hadn't sold a car, she'd come and buy it anyway and part exchange the price I gave her. I didn't give her a high price because it was a pure tech and needed a cam belt. She rang me and said she's ready to get the car because turned out she went to We Buy Any Car and they offered £400 more than I did, which makes total sense because they're not going to allow for the replacement of the cam belt because they're not going to replace the cam belt. They're going to send it straight to auction, so it makes sense that they could offer more money for her. So she came, picked the car up. I thought, well, great, she drove off. And within 5 minutes of her driving off, I thought, the sun's out, the weather's good, it's 4:30 on a Saturday, I want to ride the bike home. So I got my motorbike and obviously zipped my phone up in the pocket and drove off. When I got home, obviously taking my coat off, checked my phone, got a message from the lady Says, James, and this is probably about 10 minutes after she left, maybe 15. James, clutch has gone on the car. She said, and all we are is in the industrial estate just around the corner. Turns out what they'd done is pulled in here to learn a few more of the controls before they headed off and make sure she was comfortable driving it. So out of something or other, I'm not sure what. But when she went to pull away, she struggled to get a gear, and then the clutch went completely and she couldn't get any gears. So it says, we're waiting for the recovery people to get here. Here's the car. We're waiting for the recovery people to get here. I said, I'm so sorry. I gave her a ring straight away. I said, I'm so sorry. I can't believe that's happened. Don't wait around. Just drop the keys off at my lockbox. So I've got a lockbox. Drop the keys off my lockbox outside my unit. Get yourself off home and I'll refund you the money. And she said, oh no, I still want the car. If you can sort the clutch out, I still want it. Which, I love that attitude. I mean, what a brilliant attitude. Normally people are shouting and hollering and believing that somehow I knew this was going to happen. But instead, she's like, no, we still want the car if you can sort it, James. So what we agreed to do was for me to come and grab the car this morning and to give her a loan car so she can... oh, there's absolutely nothing there. I'm not going to be able to get a gear at all. There is nothing there. Yeah, so the clutch is completely just, there's no feeling to it at all. So, see if I can't baby this home somehow. I'll put it into gear. So yeah, so she's going to go and pick up a loan car this morning. We're going to get this fixed. But yeah, I mean, shout out for someone who's got some common sense. Well, let's start. Or is that too much to ask for it to start in gear? There we go. Now I've got to stop it and get it in first and try and get it back to the unit. I don't think I'm going to do this while holding the camera. If we get it back to the unit, I'll pick up the story there. So I got it back here in first gear. I just started the car in first and just kept going. I was tempted to try and get through town to Moors, but I thought, no, I think I'll leave that to them to come and grab it because they are happy to jump straight on it. I think they probably obviously recognise some kind of misdiagnosis might have happened. I mean, it might be them at fault, maybe something completely different. But they're going to come and grab it straight away and have agreed to turn it around ASAP. And hopefully we can get it back out the door again. Obviously it means the profit in the deal is probably gone. As I've shown you before on videos, if you boil everything down on a car like this, you might end up making £500 net. You might start off with, say, £2,000 gross, but at the time you've paid for, don't forget, I've already had a master cylinder on it, some other bits and bobs, got it through its MOT. I've had to pay the VAT, obviously the advertising. I've ended up selling it for 5.5 when Auto Trader said it was 5.7 because I wasn't getting too much interest. So all those things, we're probably down to £500 net profit. Putting a clutch in it, likelihood is, you know, if we come out with a couple £100 at best, we'll be doing well. And then obviously we've still got another potential 6 months in which a claim can be made. So it should wash its face, but it's not going to be making me any money. Which once again just shows, doesn't it? I mean, this was a really nice car. Like I say, one owner from you, full main dealer service history. So does it make it a bad car because of what's happened? No, it doesn't. It's that age. 70,000 miles, 80,000 miles, clutches can go. They can go on absolutely any manual car of that age. Doesn't make it a bad car at all. It just makes it a used car. That's what it is, isn't it? A used car. And just part and parcel of it. Now, no doubt down below, we're going to have some helmets going on about how if I sent cars out the door properly in the first place, this wouldn't have happened. If the garage knew what they're doing, this wouldn't have happened. Because, as I said before, there's these people that believe that somehow we have X-ray vision to be able to tell what's going to happen with these vehicles. We have X-ray vision as to what the internal parts of the vehicle are. They also seem to believe that we should be stripping these cars down to their absolute nut and bolt components and putting them all back together again before we send them out the door, but still sell them for only fractionally more than a private seller. Anybody who knows their stuff in the comments down below will agree with me that if a clutch is not slipping, if a clutch is not grabbing, if it's not hard to engage gears, if it's not biting high, if it's not biting low, if it's not super grabby, then you're going to assume that clutch is fine. We had a problem with it and it was fixed, and the car drove again fine. Why would we assume anything other than it was all good to go? Explain to me what further tests we could have done other than test driving this vehicle after we did to, you know, what am I supposed to do? Run it for the next 6 months, put another 10,000 miles on it? It's a used car. It's done what a used car does. That's why it is probably less than a quarter of its value when it was brand new, and now it's going to get fixed. Don't go out there and buy used cars from dealers and think that you've found that unicorn of a used vehicle that's never going to need a penny spending on it. Might absolutely luck out, and it might happen, and the comments are always full of stories of I've had my Toyota since 1972 and I've only put a light bulb in it. But the reality is they haven't. They've done normal maintenance to the vehicle. They've had to fix things every now and then. There isn't a car out there that's not going to need it. Sometimes you get really lucky and a car ends up costing you absolute peanuts, whereas you can have exactly the same make and model that somebody else has and it ends up costing them a load of money to get done. As I said, don't judge your dealer on whether your used car develops a fault or not. Judge your dealer on what he does when it develops a fault. I've got to crack on and get the loan car ready for the lady. So that's the people that bought the Hyundai off with the loan car Honda Jazz. In this job, you spend a lot of time with people coming with the preconception that you're looking to rip them off and do them wrong, and that when there's a problem with their vehicles that you knew in advance. Every now and then you meet people like that are just the loveliest people to come along and be laughing and joking with me. And they said, the funny thing was, they said as well that when they were waiting on Saturday to hear from me what was going to happen, they were sitting there thinking, oh, we could have done with a drink right now. And they actually had, oh, hold on a second, they had one of these new Mussy gift packs I've been giving away with all the cars, and they'd committed to not opening that till they got home. Little did they know, when they got home and opened it, it had drinks and snacks in it, which is exactly what they needed while they were waiting for the car. Now, when they were sat there, said they were waiting, I almost was tempted to say to them, well, at least you got some snacks in the box, but I didn't know whether their humour level, having had the problem they had at that point, would have been the correct thing to say. But they were laughing and joking about it with me there, and just, you know, really nice people that understand that used cars can develop a fault. I mean, obviously you don't want them developing a fault that quickly, and they appreciate that. You know, if we put a new clutch in there and go out the door with a new clutch now, and that means that, you know, they could have had that car for 8-9 months and needed to put a clutch in it because it was 80,000 miles, wasn't it? You know, getting on 100,000, you're going to put a clutch in most cars anyway. So they just absolutely lovely people. And, you know, when you've had a bit of a week of it like I have, with some people that just haven't been so good. I mean, they even waited. I'd forgotten. I was going to get the Honda out, clean it, valet it for them before they got here, but I thought it only needs a lights one because it was out on loan with the customer. And I'd forgotten, when I went and pulled it out, the customer said to me, I haven't been able to give it a clean. I thought they meant the outside. When I looked inside, they'd obviously taken the car to the beach with the kids and it was just full of sand and crud. So they just happily waited while I gave it a quick hoover and a wash for them as well. But yeah, just really, really lovely people, and it makes the job that much nicer when people are like that. Now what we're going to do is try and just turn that around as quickly as possible. Like I say, Moores have said they will prioritise that and get that done for me ASAP. As you can see, I've got plenty of other things to be getting on with. But yeah, when I got home on Saturday night and that happened, I have to admit, after the last week or so I've had, I was inclined to pick up the phone and ring my friend Theo and say, take away the 21,000 mile Fiat, take away the 40,000 mile Fiat, take away the 40,000 mile Nissan, take away the 40,000 mile Hyundai, the 20,000 mile VW up, and the 38,000 mile, whatever it is, Honda CR. I don't want to do any retail sales anymore. I've had enough. The cars I'm doing are just too old and too problematic, and you just can't get ahead. And Saturday obviously was the beginning of a new month, and I thought, nice sale as a Hyundai i20. We're off to a start again. But that's the way this job is, and I've said it time and time again, and people, you know, obviously people will get in the comments and accuse you of whinging, and I just want to show people what it's actually like day-to-day trading, and that if you are considering doing it, you've got to have some bloody thick skin on you, and you've got to be able to deal with some serious ups and downs in this game, because one minute you're flying and the next minute you're just dealing with raft after raft of warranty claim. And I know it can happen. People say I'll sell the newer, lower mileage stuff, but I know people that do, and they can also have similar problems as well. Right, I'm going to have to talk over some machinery going on in the background, which I'll cover with you in a later video. But normally I'll be pointing here and reminding you that the Fiat Barchetta raffle is going on, where you can win our Fiat Barchetta for just £2.50. But it's gone down to have a little oil leak sorted at the garage, because I noticed I had a bit of an oil leak when I moved it around. They have had they had the head off, didn't they, and worked on it. So I think we might have a pinch gasket or something. Here I am pointing at the CRX instead that I've moved inside. Which did get me thinking, actually, that we've still got the Toyota MR2 next door as well, which we're going to raffle. I've said there's a £5,000 alternative to the Fiat Barchetta if the winner decides to have that instead of the car. But what I'm also going to say is, as the MR2 hasn't gone up yet, and it was for future raffle as well, if someone wants to also swap out from the Barchetta into the Toyota MR2 we got next door, which I'll put in a later video. If you watch the channel, I've seen it in previous videos. It's like a 50,000 mile Toyota MR2 on like a 2005. Phone's going. We'll put that as an alternative as well. So £5,000 Barchetta or the MR2, your choice. I'll put a link in the video description down below. Hopefully this is a sale. Catch you later.